Welcome to this course, Format a Financial Model with Macabacus. My name's Duncan, and I'll be leading you through the material for this course. Thought it would be fun to start off with a little true story. So I started off my career in finance, working in equity research. I'm sure you know how equity research works. Effectively, you're building financial models. You're utilizing those models to help you form opinions about a sector and about companies. And then you're publishing research, which is your way of communicating those opinions and those ideas across to portfolio managers. Now, I ended up working in equity research for almost a decade, but I still remember those first couple of years at the start very, very well. What you're doing at the beginning is you're building your financial models, you're forming your opinions, and you're getting your coverage established on a group of companies. Now, what started happening, and this is relatively common in equity research, was that the portfolio managers were asking me for copies of my models. So naturally, I sent them over. And as time went on to continue building relationships with them. They were interested in the themes that I was seeing in the sector, and they were also interested about my ideas that I was forming about the companies I had under coverage. Now, the thing about financial models and equity research is they're updated at least quarterly. In fact, sometimes more frequently if there's a lot of news flow in the sector. And what I noticed over time was that the portfolio managers were not asking me for updated copies of my financial models. Now, at the time, I was too busy to notice that anything was wrong. But looking back on it later and reflecting a little bit, I realized that there was something about these models which just didn't resonate with them. In fact, in hindsight, I was able to tell that in fact the problem was the models weren't well formatted at all. Now, my undergraduate degree was in engineering. So to me, a model was effectively a system. It had inputs and outputs. It had calculations and formulas, and it was a logical sequence through from one end to another. And I was so focused on the numbers that I really didn't place much emphasis at all on the formatting. So why is it that the formatting is so important? Well, to answer that question, we need to think about what a financial model is. Effectively, financial model is a decision-making tool. And actually, financial models have become the most important decision-making tools in modern finance today. Now, in order for someone to feel comfortable using your model to make a large, important financial decision, they need to have confidence in your model building abilities. And one of the best ways to establish that confidence is by presenting them with clean and intuitive formatting right off the bat. So I hope you're realizing exactly how important formatting is. It's a great way to establish credibility with your audience very, very early on. Essentially, you want people to be drawn into your models so that you can get traction with the models and ultimately for them to be used to make an important financial decision. You're probably eager to get started. So let's jump in the next video, roll up our sleeves, and start formatting this financial model. We'll see you there. Now, as you can see, we've opened up the Excel template file that we've provided for this course. And when we first start looking at it, we can see some pretty bad formatting. We're over on the cover page now, and we can hold down Control and use Page Up, Page Down to pop over to the Model tab. And there's some pretty poor formatting on this tab as well. In fact, this model in many ways reminds me of some of those first research models that I built that ended up in somebody's recycling bin. Now, from this position on the Model tab, we can just tap the Page Down button. And what you'll see down below is a really, really well-formatted financial model that we've designed. Tapping Page Up, and we get back to the unformatted model. And this is a great chance to practice keyboard shortcuts. Let's go back over to the Cover tab. So Control, Page Up, we're over there. Now on the Cover tab, the formatted financial model is off to the right. Instead of using the cursor to scoot over there like this, here's a little pro tip. Hold down the Alt key and use the Page Up and Page Down buttons to index over horizontally. So really holding down the Alt key and using Page Up, Page Down is effectively like a page left and page right, if you want to think of it like that. So let's pop back over to the Model tab now, because this is where we're going to spend the bulk of our time in this course. We don't want this course to be a race where you're just hammering on keyboard shortcuts, trying to format this model as quickly as possible. What we want to focus on is the differences between this unformatted model and the formatted model so that you can understand what those subtleties are and emulate those in your own financial models after this course is completed. In fact, one of the things to keep in mind is that we have a financial modeling guidelines document, which we're bringing up on the screen right now with a link where you can download it. A lot of that document, which is over 90 pages, focuses on formatting. And a lot of the design principles that we're going to discuss in this course are coming from that document that we've put together. One of the important things about that financial modeling guidelines document is that to us, it's not just a publication. We actually live and breathe this stuff. So every financial model that we build is adhering to those guidelines that we put together. And a significant part of that document is really discussing formatting. We're going to bring out those parts of the document in this course to make sure that you understand our views on financial model formatting. Now, you may have noticed that we have made an XML file available to you in the downloads for this course. That file contains all of the CFI settings that we use in Macabacus and that we're going to be utilizing in this course. What you can do with that file is head up to the Macabacus section of the ribbon. If you could please click here under Settings and then click Import, you can hit this button right here in order to import settings from an XML file. Again, that will give you all of the settings that we use here at CFI inside Macabacus. So it might be fun to match our settings, but it's not completely necessary. In fact, you can gain a lot from this course by working with your own settings. You may be in a situation where the settings have been configured by your admin or IT department. In fact, that's quick to check as well. If you go up here to the Macabacus section of the ribbon and again under Settings, and then click Configure, if you're confronted with a message like this, your administrator has restricted changes to color palettes, then that's a good indication that your admin or IT department has already configured everything for you with your brand standards and pushed them out to your computer. Now, the other thing that you may find very valuable is the summary sheet that we're bringing up on the screen right now. We've made this available for you to download at the beginning of the course. It has some of the relevant keyboard shortcuts that we'll be using, as well as some of our views on formatting a financial model. Hopefully, you're all clear with the setup now. You're probably eager to get started. So let's hop into the next video, roll up the sleeves, and get started on formatting this financial model.